Hey everybody, Quantum here, and if you've clicked on this video, you are apparently interested in my opening tutorial for Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. This is a new game that launched June 15, 2025, and it can be a little confusing. So in the first 3 minutes of this video, we're just going to watch, basically, as you can see here, me registering, go through the opening animation, talk about a few things before we get into the actual tutorial. There should be timestamps in the description and obviously on the timeline of the video where you can skip ahead to a certain part. I went ahead and basically started a new account right after making a couple of mistakes on my main account, and I'm just gonna have to live with those, that's fine. But I don't want you to make those same mistakes, and so in this video we're going to break down what you want to do to maximize your resources in the beginning of the game as a free-to-play player. Of course, you can spend some money if you want, but you're going to see in this, I don't know if I'm going to make this one video yet or if it's going to be broken up into 2 to 3 parts, because you know, it is basically like an hour's worth of content maybe, but what you can do to maximize the free-to-play potential. So don't waste resources, don't fall into like certain traps, don't craft things thinking, you know, I can get X, Y, or Z, because of the way that the game works. And you know, it's received some criticism, but all in all, you know, I've been playing it for a couple of days as a free-to-play player, and as long as you make the right decisions, you should not have any problem making a full solid deck with, you know, meta competitive potential, I guess you could say. So I will say too, if you're coming from another card game, you know, this game looks absolutely beautiful. The artwork is what really drew me into the game, and then as I started to play it, I really started to enjoy the gameplay mechanics. I think it's fairly balanced right now, and it has a lot of players. It has a lot to do in the game. It's not only just focused on the competitive aspect, which again I think is really great. So after you get through the opening, you're just going to want to skip ahead all these tutorials unless you actually want to sit there and go through them. But if you're watching this video, hopefully you don't need to sit there and read through and click through and do everything in the tutorial section. So just follow what I'm doing here. You get to the main screen, and on this home screen, again, just skip all the tutorials. You can change the artworks and stuff if you're uncomfortable with you know, some of the wallpapers. I will say, you know, while the art is beautiful, some of it is definitely a little dodgy, but hey, that's Japanese card games for you sometimes. But yeah, like look at that artwork for Jean, or yeah, I think it's Jean, right? That one of the best artworks in the game. But here it's gonna just run you through some of the opening missions, and you know, you'll probably hear me say this a few times throughout this video, but if you're watching this video at the midpoint of June or midpoint of July 2025, you can get a lot of the, you know, game launching bonuses. So here you can see we're opening some packs, and again, now that I've played the game, and if you haven't played the game yet, you know, your packs are just random, right? But I will say you'll want to, first thing you want to do is definitely get all of the free packs you can, open everything up and see what legendaries you get, because that could dictate how you build your very first meta competitive deck, and we'll cover what the best, or I would say beginner friendly decks are. I would say, you know, probably the best deck in the game is the Portal Craft deck, but the Sword Craft deck is very beginner friendly, and so is the Dragon Craft deck. And in this video, in this alt account, we're going to be working towards this here, the Dragon Craft deck, and you're gonna see the success of it. So let's go ahead and jump straight in. So aside from changing your background, which again on the home screen here you can do from this wallpaper tab, there's going to be a couple of things that you're just going to want to know right off the bat. Your home screen is going to show you your missions here. This is the one you're going to want to complete at the beginning. You're going to get a couple of, you know, just rewards, but you really want to try to complete this. There's no major time limit on this, I don't think, not from what I can see here. But don't make the same mistake I did. I thought you weren't able to actually sift through and select a deck, and I just accepted the first deck that was here when I completed this. So now that I know I can sift through and collect different decks, or choose a deck I want, and again, we'll go over the specifics of what each deck can do. Make sure that when you complete all of these, you don't just claim the reward right away. You actually go through and decide on which deck you want. In my opinion, just right off the bat, thankfully the first deck that popped up was the Officer Swordcraft, and it is a very good deck. It's actually one of the top tier decks, and it is very beginner friendly as well, as it states. The Ramp Dragoncraft I think is also a good deck, and then the Puppetry Portalcraft I think is the best deck in the game right now, just because it's the most versatile. Again, this is not super high level gameplay, right? You're not trying to reach the top of the leaderboards or anything. You're just trying to understand the game, win some matches, and those are the 3 decks that I would recommend. So Officer Swordcraft, Ramp Dragoncraft, and Portal Puppetry. And the reason for that is because of the legendary cards that you get in there, and we'll break that down for you in just a second. So that's the first fair missions. You can also see your battle pass, which is probably not going to be too relevant right now. Again, you can always read through these tutorials yourself, but unfortunately, unlike Master Duel and stuff, like the premium pass, you do have to buy with like the crystals, and from what I understand, this has to be purchased with real money. But for now, you know, as you go through ranked, you can get your regular rewards, and if you want to buy the premium one, you can. But even I haven't played that much ranked because I haven't invested anything into this game really, except for $2, which I'll cover in just a second. Next up, you're going to have your main menu here, or your side menu, and that is from your home screen in the top right-hand corner. This is where you can see a bunch of different things. Not everything in here is going to be relevant right away. The only thing that's really relevant is your profile, where you can see some details, and then your feats. This is where you can collect additional rewards. So you'll always check back here every so often to claim different specific rewards like rupees and things like that. Your gifts is another area where you're going to want to check, because as you can see here, this is the reason why you want to play this like right now. So it's Sunday morning, still, right? We're approaching the afternoon, and I get all of these rewards for free just for making an account, right? And so it's an amazing time to just make an account, follow this tutorial, and look at this. You get all this stuff for free. I imagine this will go away after the pre-registration or pre-release event, even though the game's already released. I don't know why it's called pre. But just collect that stuff. It's free, and you know, that's maybe a couple $100 or $100 or more worth of materials that you're getting from that. So we've covered the menu, the wallpaper, the gifts. This one here is missions. Now these missions give you pretty good rewards, and we can cover what those are later, but they reset every 21 hours once you complete them. So if you don't end up completing anything, the timer to give you a new mission won't start. So make sure you complete them as quickly as possible, and if you don't like one, you can always replace it. And then of course there's battle pass ones that you get for playing online matches as well, and these don't have to be ranked, and we can cover what that means. Again, a lot to cover here, but overall still pretty simple. So next up, you've got some, I guess, just news items here. So it just tells you what's new in the game. I really recommend that if you do have the ability to invite friends, you get some nice rewards here from it just by using a friend code. You get like 2,000 gold right off the bat, and then as your friends progress, you get additional gold. So, you know, as an alt account, I'm not gonna lie, like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So there is that as well. If you have the original Shadowverse, you probably don't even need to use this tutorial. I never played the original one, but I guess you can link the original. I don't think there's any major ongoing events, well, except the release event, but no like major tournaments or anything, obviously, just yet. And that's pretty much it. So from here, the other couple of major areas, like you can go to the solo mode, right? This is where you're going to spend a lot of time in the beginning. You're just going to go to practice. You can skip the stories. You can skip through most of the tutorials. You'll get gold and stuff for these, so you got to do these eventually. It's pretty quick. It's an easy way to farm up some resources. I don't need to really click through and explain that. But you're going to want to go through practice, because this is where you can do some of those daily missions. And again, you can always skip these tutorials here. You know, you're going to want to make sure you make your own deck. These default decks aren't bad, but they have a lot of what we say generic cards are in the game. Then when you go up against the CPU, there's, I think, 3 modes: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Yeah, intermediate and advanced, and you get different levels of gold. They're all very, very easy. You can clear this out in probably less than like 2 hours. But it's a good way to practice and, again, complete missions and stuff like that to get easy gold. So that is the solo mode. It's pretty straightforward. The card section is where you're really going to want to understand things, and I probably need to make a separate video on the different deck types if you guys you know, like this kind of tutorial. But you have cards, decks, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. I'm sure it's a real word, I just don't know what it, Compendium, I don't know. Compendium. But basically you can hold down your mouse button and it will speed through this, but it's gonna log what cards you have, and obviously as new sets are released, you'll have, you know, different sets of cards. A lot of different cards though, for the most part, you know, aside from obtaining the feats related to like getting to certain levels with your collection, which, you know, if you play the game, you'll eventually get every card in the game through natural progression, even if you don't spend any money. but you'll just get feats through that. The things that actually matter are the cards, because this is where you need to understand the crafting system. You know, it's going to explain it here, and how to manage your resources, and then obviously the building the deck screen. So for the most part, you know, when you first start off, you're not going to have like any crafting resources. You're just going to be dealing with what you've got so far. On the create a card screen and on filters, the things that usually matter are going to be the legendary and the gold cards. And this is where, you know, the game has received some criticism, because you can't disenchant legendaries that you don't actually want. I don't even know how did I get this? That's crazy that I got this already. But anyways, if I'm going to build a Dragoncraft deck, then I have my legendary. If I wasn't going to build a Dragoncraft deck, well, I have this card. I can't, what they call liquefy or disenchant it for resources. I'm just stuck with it. But that's actually okay. I don't think that's as big of a detriment as people say. Like, as you play the game, as usual, right? Master Duel for me has been completely free to play, and I've built every top tier deck for the past, like, every time I've played, because I've taken breaks from the game. But like, when I come back to the game, I build top tier decks. This is not nearly as free to play friendly as Master Duel, but I'm pretty sure over time you will amass the resources to collect everything that you need, and it shouldn't be an issue to build at least one top tier deck every format that, you know, or every season, I guess you could say, that this game rotates through. So again, don't worry too much about the crafting and the resources there. So you got gold, you've got crystals, which are paid resources, you've got your vials of blood. I don't know what this is, but this is how you craft cards. And again, you can disenchant cards that you have more than 3 of. If you have less than 3 of the cards, you cannot disenchant it. So if I have 3 legendaries that I'm not going to use a deck for, I can't disenchant it until I get the 4th one, which is again where this game runs into some criticism. On the deck building screen, again, you can follow the tutorial here, but this is where you can select a new deck, and you can choose basically the archetype that you want to use for your deck, right? And so like I was saying, once you complete those feats, if you remember back from earlier in the video, you can choose which one you want to go for. I would recommend, again, either the Swordcraft, the Dragoncraft, or the Portalcraft. The Portalcraft is a little bit more advanced to understand, but these two here are fairly straightforward and still very, very powerful. They can definitely blitz through a lot of ranked matches. So since I already have the legendary for the Dragoncraft, I'm going to go ahead and select this one. And you're going to see cards that you're going to be able to put into your deck or build your deck with. There are basically 2 ways or 2 kinds of cards you can always fit into your deck, from my understanding. The first one is the actual archetype of what you've selected. So for example, I have this legendary that is a Dragoncraft card. I can only use this in a Dragoncraft deck. I cannot use this in a Portalcraft or the Swordcraft deck. I can only use it in this particular archetype. And then you have universal cards, what are called neutral. And this can be used in any deck type. So obviously these cards should not be nearly as powerful as the better archetype specific cards. But as you start off in the game, you'll likely fill these cards in here and there in order to fill out your deck until you get all of the specifics you need. And there are still some very good neutral cards. If you go to the create cards section, you can see cards that are available to be put into this kind of archetype deck, right? Whether it's, again, specific to the archetype or a neutral card, right? So for example, this card is a gold card and it is a neutral card. So again, you can build your deck this way. So this is a specific Dragoncraft card, but I don't have it, so I'd have to either craft it or try to pull it. But you can see what cards are available that you don't have. For example, this is a card, Olivia, Heroic Dark Angel. It's a pretty good generic card that can help you like recover resources and do things like that here, like draw 2 cards, recover play points, which we can describe later. So again, build your deck, but for the first, or at least in the beginning, you're probably not going to have too much to work with, and that is okay. Again, if you're watching this video during the time that the pre-release event is going on, you're going to get all those resources for free, which is really going to help you, which is going to lead me now to the next section in the shop. When you click on the shop, so we've covered home, cards, which is like crafting, disenchanting, creating your deck, and then your collection. How to grind through solo mode, which is pretty self-explanatory as long as you know how to play the game, which again you can follow tutorials for, but I'll also go over that later on in this video. The other thing is the shop. If you're going to spend money on this game, you can go to buy supplies. It tells you a little bit of something there. But the thing that's actually worth buying is this thing for $2.19. You get 10 card packs. And this is the only thing that I bought on my main account. It was, again, like $2.50 literally. And And after I played the game for a little bit, I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I really like this game. I'm gonna do this. I might even buy some of these other things, but for right now, no. 3,500 vials is 1 legendary, and then you get legendary card pack ticket and at least 1 legendary guaranteed, and then you get 2,000 crystals. But this is 55 bucks, so that's pretty expensive, at least in Canadian dollars. You can buy crystals. You can buy bonus bundles, which I think are just like, yeah, it's a combination of like cosmetics and actual like in-game tools, which all these little things, you know, these don't matter right now. You can buy different leaders. That's very expensive. Holy, I think these are from the original game or something. And I don't think these do anything except for being cosmetics. Again, I didn't buy them, but I'm pretty sure from what I read online. Okay, then you've got like sleeves, items, premium stuff here, which is pretty cool. The artwork in this game is alone makes me like not feel guilty about spending money on this game, because just for like the interfaces and the artwork, it's incredible. The thing that actually is going to matter for you though is going to be the buy cards. Doesn't always mean you have to spend money, but again, it's going to show you here, you know, certain bundles that are available, I guess. But the thing you're going to actually want to click on is the one that's related to the set, which right now there's only one set. We've got 28 packs. We've got 2,000 gold, which we can buy a pack for 500 gold, which again, this is something that's come under criticism. Apparently in the first one, it only cost 100. But I don't know, maybe you're getting more gold in this iteration. And then of course you can buy packs with money, I guess, as well. So always keep track of this up here. Make sure you're going from the home screen, checking if you've got free packs in your gifts, checking your missions to see if you can claim anything. And then there's a second thing we can check, which is going to be the park, which is the last portion of this kind of opening tutorial. But I'm going to show you basically what you're going to go through, and we're going to see what I can get out of this here. So again, I got 28. I'm going to go max, and I'm going to buy them. This PT, I believe, is just putting points towards redeeming it for like a special item. So you're not going to get this for a long time unless you spend a lot of money on the game. So I wouldn't worry about this right now. But your packs get converted into this as well, like points towards this thing, which is, I guess, just an extra bonus, but not really relevant. So we're going to buy 10 packs. When you buy it in 10, you get this animation. You know, I see that there are some like lit up ones here. I don't know if that means that, you know, there's good cards in there or not, or it's giving me a preview of what to expect. But yeah, we're going to open these 10 packs. Okay, so nothing really special here, just silver and bronze cards, which I guess you can say are common and uncommon. I would say golds are maybe rare, and then like you get like legendary cards that, you know, are pretty apparent. You'll see what happens when you get them. So that's a legendary card there, and that's a gold card. Okay, so we'll take a look at those after we finish, or I guess on this opening. So this one is a Forest Craft archetype. And again, we can explain how the mechanics work in this game, but this is actually one of the key cards for this archetype. So pretty nice pull if you are going to play this. But again, if you're not going to play Forest Craft, can't use this card really, right? Can't disenchant it. It's just what you got. And then we've got another Forest Craft card in the Killer Rhino Cockroach. I don't know. It's not cockroach, but like it looks like a cockroach. So okay. So 2 Forest Craft cards that are, I guess, rare and legendary. Okay, nothing really too special here, so let's keep going. We've got a gold card, Rage of the Serpents, which is a Biscraft, okay? So not an archetype that we want to use. There are also premium versions of cards, which are basically animated versions of the cards, but again, those shouldn't really matter for the purposes of if you're trying to be mostly free to play. Think of it like Royal Rares and stuff like that in Master Duel. So this is a premium, this is an example, so you see the card is like animated a little bit. Kind of cool. Yeah, and then the evolved form is also going to be animated, which again, we can explain what evolved and stuff means. So basically, the way I look at it is what you pull from your free packs kind of dictates what deck you're going to build, right? Because these are the resources that, you know, are made basically free available to you. So we're not really getting anything that great out of these 10 packs here. We've got a couple of gold, but only 1 legendary. There's another gold card. This is a good generic one. And another, this is a Dragoncraft one, I believe. So that's actually good if we're going to try to build Dragoncraft. Cost 3 to make a bodyguard, but you have to discard a card in your hand. Oof. This one is okay depending on how you pair it. Okay, so those are our first 10 packs. We only got one legendary, so not great. But I mean, it's better than nothing. Okay, 4 golds and silvers. Again, you can always go back into your collection and see. Okay, a lot of bronze. To be fair, there's a lot of good bronze cards. A lot of good cards that are just common. So this game is very, very well balanced right now is what I'll say. At least from my experience, from what I've played so far. So as you open packs, you're going to receive like different cosmetics. So we got an emblem to use as our profile pick for the legendary. And what's nice about this is you can see here, as you open packs, I guess people call this the pity, from what I read online, but you get a guaranteed legendary every 10 packs basically. So as you open at least 10 packs, you're at least going to get a high value card, which I think is great. It's similar to Master Duel, right? Like the ultra rare. In Master Duel you can open 10 packs and not get an ultra rare, then they make you open another 10 to guarantee the ultra rare. So I will say this system is better for that. So we're going to go ahead and buy, I guess we can buy 2 here just to show you, because it says I'm guaranteed a legendary in the next 2. So let's go ahead. We're going to go down to 16 packs left after this, and let's see what legendaries we get. And then I'll switch it over to a different portion, because I don't think you guys want to see pack openings all the time. Wow, only 1 new card, and this is a brand new account. That's crazy. So a legendary should be in this pack here. There it is. Okay. This is a sword craft, I believe, because I have this on my other account. Yeah, this one's decent. And that's what we got there. Okay. So when we go back to the shop screen, you'll see it's going to say that we have a legendary within the next 10 packs. Right? So there it is. So that's going to do it for basically the opening UI. There's nothing in the arena to really worry about right now because there's no live tournaments, but I guess this is something that you can participate in later. Multiplayer is pretty self-explanatory. Do private or ranked matches. You get points and obviously additional materials for going through the ranked mode. And then we're gonna split this video off. Not split it off, but I'm going to go into this portion because the park is where you can get a lot of extra resources, especially right now. Again, if you're watching this video upon this game's release or within the first couple of weeks of the game's release, there's this Rupees Galore event underway. I don't think that matters because it's like one person gets like a lot of rupees every day over the next like 3 weeks or something. So the odds you're going to win that is like nil. But there's a lot of good events that you can complete. So maybe I'll make it a separate video. I don't know yet. But anyways, I'm going to stop this recording here and start another one because there's a lot to cover for the parks.